My name is Nathan Swenson-Reinhold. I'm the lead pastor of Lord of Life Lutheran Church in Clifton and Fairfax, Virginia, and I'm also the coaching coordinator for the Metropolitan Washington, D.C. Synod. I've been in this particular post now for about 2.5 years, and in that amount of time we have trained up 24 coaches, 21 who are actively deployed, both clergy and lay, and they are now involved in 45 active coaching relationships throughout the Synod. We're pretty proud of that. I'm passionate about coaching mostly because coaching and mentoring have been such an integral part of my life. They have meant nothing less than transformation and empowerment for me in this life of ministry. And in a ministry life that's full of conflict and hits and distractions and all of the stuff that comes with life, coaching has kept me focused and on target. Has allowed me to be much more like a duck in my leadership, shedding the stuff that's not important and tackling the stuff that is on a more regular basis. And I know what it's done for me, and in my own coaching life with others now, I see what kind of empowerment it offers them and how it changes their ministries and their lives and helps them focus on what's wildly important and helps them generate wins, both big and small, towards the things that are most important to them. And that's a heady, beautiful, wonderful thing. I don't think we can undervalue just how important passion is. I think with any sort of movement, you need to have people gathered around it that are passionate about what it's doing and want to see it through. And so passion, my passion and the passion of the people that I work with has been central to making this successful. In this context, the thing that has given this movement afterburners has been a supportive Synod office from the very beginning. Our DEM, Phil Hirsch, who's my boss and my partner, as well as the other assistants in the office and our bishop, Richard Graham, have taken coaching and run with it and made it an active part of their own synodical life. So all three of our primary assistants, Phil Hirsch and Layla Ortiz and Catherine Wheeler, have all been trained as coaches. They all use coaching in their own ministries for their ministries, and they're all deployed as coaches in our Synod. So the Synod actively sees our leadership all the way to the top involved and invested in this coaching movement. And I think that that's a key thing that has made this thing really take off here. Certainly, I'd like to think I'm articulate and passionate about this, and the force of my will is enough to get anything accomplished. But at the end of the day, the truth is I've had a superbly supportive environment with really, really excellent leaders who've taken this relational art and technology, and they're leveraging it in this context. And that spreads the word faster, and people see transformation and want to know what's up and why everybody's involved and invested in this. And so people are taking notice, and it's making a difference. There are three primary things that I can think of. For the pastors who've been trained as coaches, coaching as a relational art and technology has fundamentally changed their ministries. They're leading in their context differently. They've learned how to take on a developmental posture with others, and they're doing that with both their lay leadership teams and lay leaders in the congregation. And I think that's significant because none of our seminaries are training us on how to empower people towards ministry. And coaching is a relational art and technology that fundamentally gives us tools for empowering people towards life and ministry. And I think that shouldn't be lost on us. In this context, I'm seeing that in all of our coaches. It's changing how they do ministry and the kind of results they get and how quickly they get them, because they're developing leaders who are helping to shoulder the load of mission and ministry in their context. And so we're seeing congregational growth in some really dynamic and vital ways. And I think that's a beautiful thing. We were raising up coaches for the sake of coaching others outside of congregational context, but perhaps the best benefit has been how our pastors are now coaching inside of their context, not in formal ways, but in informal ways, just in how they are present with people, how they ask powerful questions, and how they allow a developmental process to emerge in those that they're ministering to. And I think that's a beautiful thing. The second thing is, it's changing in terms of the leadership of the Synod, our expectation for the leaders of the Synod. We expect people to be growing and innovating. We expect people to be open to innovation and change. So it's changing our sense of expectation for what's possible for people. So there's a higher level of accountability. How are you growing? What kind of resources are you using? We have these coaching resources. Are you leveraging them for your context to grow your context and its mission and ministry? And I think that's a powerful catalytic thing to be able to say. Not only do we expect you to be growing and vital, but we've also got resources to give you. And I think that begins to change the soil of a culture. And I think the third thing is just as impactful and powerful as the others. And that is, as we're bringing leaders into the Synod, I know that those who are responsible for finding pastors to come into the Synod are telling them at the outset, listen, we expect you to be in a posture of ongoing growth and transformation. And if you're not teachable, you need not apply. It doesn't matter how much the congregation wants you. The reality is we need teachable leaders, teachable pastors, because none of us has all of the tools necessary to lead the congregations that we're tasked with leading today. We need the additional resources of one another, of coaching, of mentoring, to get done what God needs us to get done in this 21st century post-everything world. I have lots of last thoughts, and this video is already getting too long, but coaching makes us better leaders. I'm constantly surprised and chagrined to find out how little openness there is in pastors to coaching and mentoring. Very few of us have coaches and very few of us have mentors, and I think part of that is we were sold a bill of goods in the context of our seminary educations that said that when we strapped the collar around our necks, we had everything on tap. And that just isn't so, especially today, that just isn't so. And so I really, really relish those people who come with open hearts, who know that they don't have all the tools and all the knowledge, who know that they have trouble staying focused and just need some support and encouragement, and they know how to reach out and get that stuff. And so I'm heartened to see pastors who weren't teachable become teachable when they realize they're not getting the results in their context, and they don't need to be defensive about that. That's not about some sort of character flaw in them, but that there are resources around that if they begin to tap into them, they can begin to move in some intentional, powerful ways that maybe they didn't see before. I think another thought is we can change the expectations for our leaders, and we can do this as a grassroots. We can do this as a peer group, leader to leader, and say, hey, how are you growing? And what kind of resources are you using? How are you challenging yourself? You don't have to go this alone. And I think that that's an important thing. And I think Synod offices can start doing that too. They can begin to utilize this stuff in their own context for their own focus, growth and development. And they can also hold those in their immediate realm of influence accountable for doing the same thing. And they can influence top down. We can get some results that way. So it can work from the ground up, and it can also work from the top down. I think the last insight for me is that Jesus sent his disciples out 2 by 2. We don't do that. We launch our pastors out by themselves, and we expect them to get phenomenal results. And I just wonder if we should all reflect a little bit on maybe what Jesus knew that we seem to have forgotten, and that is that the best and most powerful leadership comes out of partnerships, not out of Lone Ranger ministries. That we need human community to be truly focused and to be truly powerful in our actions towards the kingdom of God that we've been called to engender and partner with our God in creating. And so we need each other, and we need the resources of each other. Not in hierarchical relationships, but in collegial partnerships that empower us to greater ministry than we would have imagined by ourselves. And no time of the church has been more important. than right now.